Hello everybody, this is Jasmina, and in this video I am going to be talking about the Batsa punishments. I had a video that talked about the harms, the punishments, the destructions, all this stuff. It was just a bit too long, so I've broken it up. And I also have some new information. So the punishments are also called penalties, or at least two of them are called penalties, and they typically affect how you look at the world. It's not so much reality as twisting or interpreting things in a way that you see them that others don't. That's usually what is happening. It's not like a clash, which really does change your situation. So there's the ungrateful punishment, the bullying punishment, the uncivilized punishment, and the self-punishment. And they do sound nasty. Now, there are ways to mitigate the punishments, and from what I have found so far, and it's not easy information to get, you can use at least some of the properties of the 3 or 6 harmony branches. They're the combos, that is, for at least one of the branches that make up the punishments. So I will give examples when I get there, but it's just generally attacking it using the energies that a combo can give you. Now, I'm still doing research on this, as this information is quite hard to find even in Chinese. The best information I've found so far is from a YouTube video which has both Chinese and English subtitles. The English subtitles are usually ununderstandable, but I can read enough Chinese that it tells me what I need to know. Now, it's in Mandarin. I don't really understand Mandarin. If it were in Cantonese, I'd have a better chance, but it was a lot of work trying to discern what they were saying. Now, the presence of a directional or 3 harmony combo in one's chart is already known to overcome the punishments. But these are the only 2 that can fully overcome a punishment. The presence of 6 harmony or a half or an arch combo also weakens it but doesn't overcome it. And this is the idea that is being used to mitigate them if you don't actually have these combos already. So it stands to reason that if these combos can overcome a punishment, using the properties of the elements that make up these combos can help alleviate the punishments also. And that's where this whole idea lies. Also, the favorable or unfavorable status of an element as it is unfavorable or unfavorable to you as an individual, it can help you understand the impact, and it also can make this could become an actual positive formation for you, because the ungrateful punishment and the bullying punishment do create an element. And so sometimes, even though it has a negative name, these things can be a positive for you. So it is, but usually it's like a double-edged sword. Often it's positive, but sometimes it can also turn out a bit negative, just simply because its general nature isn't having you look at the situation in a good way, or in a necessarily even a realistic way. So misinterpretations or misunderstandings between people can happen pretty easily. Now, knowing you have a punishment can also help you avoid the issues that the punishment tends to create, even if it is an unfavorable element that it creates for you. So it, and even in the two classes that don't have an element being created, just knowing you have that helps you be on the lookout for, let's say, interactions that are clouded by these punishments and that are making things less good for you. That is, you are missing out on opportunities because these things create problems. These punishments create problems for you. So the first one I'm looking at is the ungrateful punishment. It basically makes you feel betrayed, or you feel people don't appreciate you. They don't reciprocate on your assistance if you help them. They probably help you, but you don't think the help was at an equal value. So you start feeling basically cheated. And that has a very bad kind of cycle that can go on. You are less likely to help somebody, so they're less likely to help you, and then you really feel left out. So this is a pretty tricky or pretty powerful thing that can be quite damaging to your career or to a relationship, even possibly to your health if you don't trust your doctor. But it is called also a fire penalty. So this is one of them that is called, also often called a penalty. It means that you have to have the tiger, the monkey, and the snake. All three must be in your natal chart for this to be a full power punishment, ungrateful punishment. Now, if you have two of these three animals in your Vata chart, then the remaining animal in your luck pillar, usually, the year is not such a big deal, but the 10-year luck pillar is. This is when you'll feel it. And when that comes along, and that's only one 10-year out of your life, so it's not such a big deal. I mean, it can really mess up your life in that 10 years, but then it'll go back to being a more normal thing. And that 10-year, if it messes up at a really critical time, it can mess up your life long term also. So this is really, really important to check. So if you have like the tiger and the monkey in your chart, your snake luck pillar is the dangerous luck pillar, and so forth. So it's not mystifying. Now, again, when this thing happens, these perceptions, they usually are just your perception, but they could be real, at least with a few people. So that sometimes helps reinforce a negative view of every interaction when you've actually been able to confirm that, yes, this person really doesn't want to help me. That unfortunately, when you have this penalty, you feel like everybody's that way. Although most people know that some people don't like you and some people do, that's just the way it is. But with somebody with this punishment, feels like nobody wants to help them. Now, being resentful is, of course, no help. And so one way to deal with this in general is to just try to be more objective and less worried about how you think others perceive you. And just, be as helpful as possible and don't worry about getting help in return. You will get help. You might not think it's equal help, but it's a lot better to be helpful than to say, I'm not going to help somebody because nobody helps me. That's what the ungrateful punishment will want to make you do, is just say, nobody helps me, why should I help them? That's not a good way to look at it. It tends to make things, make your life much worse. Now, this creates fire. This is one of the punishments that actually creates an element, and it can be beneficial to you if fire is favorable, if it's a favorable element for you. What is favorable and unfavorable depends on your day master and its strength, and also your overall chart balance. And most of the Batsa calculators, or at least the ones I've talked about, like the Chinese Metasoft site, they do that in words, so it's a little easier to understand. Unfortunately, the Chinese Metasoft site is not free, although I think they do have a short-term free thing. The batsacalculator.com website gives it to you in terms of opposing and supporting, and which is sometimes hard to interpret. That's why I recommend the Chinese Metasoft site. Joey Yap doesn't really show you this. He doesn't seem to care. uh, and so it's not so helpful. But there are helpful things about his free software that can help you, and I will refer a little bit to that in a bit. But two people, sometime even born on the same day but at different hours, it could switch from favorable to unfavorable, although that's a little bit less likely. Most of the time, it has to do with the day you were born. Now, if you have a unhealthy high level or close to unhealthy high of fire, and you get this healthy high, unhealthy high through Joey Yap's thing, then even if fire is a favorable element for you, this could be a negative because fire represents passion. And if you are too passionate, you can harm your health, your relationships, and even your ability to make money because you just can't concentrate on anything else but what you're passionate about. And most jobs require you to do things that are good and other things that aren't so good. So that is things you like and things you don't like. So, and if you don't want to do the things you don't like, well, oftentimes that you suffer, you don't get promoted. Now, if fire is an unfavorable element for you, this is usually not good, but there are things that can help. Now, if you have a healthy level of earth or water, you might automatically reduce this and might not even know you have it. So the reason why it's earth and water is because earth is being produced by fire, so it weakens fire, and water controls fire. So whether or not you have this in your chart and these elements in your chart depend more on what else is in your chart. That is, you can have high levels of earth or water, even if you have these three branches. So you just have to see what you have. Now, and this is really helpful if you happen to have it. Now, of course, not everybody will, but then what we're trying to do is then employ properties of the earth and the water. That is, earth is stability or nurturing, and water is more flexible thinking. So you can use that. Although if you do have really low levels, those are a bit hard to use. But if you have even decent levels, you can use those properties that earth and water represent to help you get over the punishment. And that's the whole thing. You're trying to balance this out. So as I said earlier, one of the ways we look at this is we try to find a three harmony combo to help mitigate this. Now, the rat and the dragon, along with the monkey, are part of a three harmony combo. Now, you can only have one of these because you only have four pillars. So if you have a rat or a dragon as your fourth pillar, and of course you have to have all of these to make it a true fire penalty or ungrateful punishment, then what we do is, let's say you have the rat. Well, then when the dragon luck pillar comes along, now you have a full three harmony combo, and the ungrateful punishment basically should be reduced it actually should really be eliminated, but it's temporary. And a dragon year does a little bit, but it won't be like the luck pillar. The luck pillar is where you can make real progress. So then at that period of time, that's when you kind of get your life straightened out, and then since you know this is helping, and of course it's not like a light switch, it builds a bit over time, but certainly the last 5 years of that luck pillar, you will see things differently. And this is the type of thing, even though once the luck pillar's gone, you go back to having that punishment, it is still weakened in the sense that because you understand what's going on, you can recognize when the punishment is making you have problems, making you see things the way they're not. Then this helps you tone that down. And so hopefully this you do have one of these two. I mean, you could have the dragon instead, and then you're looking for your rat luck pillar. Sometimes these things don't come at a time that's very helpful to you. They could either be when you're very young, which sometime actually, if it's played right, can be good. But if they happen when you're really old, that's much harder because then you're stuck with this. But you can also use the properties of the main chi for these two, and this one is the main chi of this one is earth, and the main chi of the rat is water. So you're using the properties, and that's why this works. Now the rooster and the ox, because you already have the snake, this is part of the 3-harmony combo that creates metal. Now metal still weakens fire because fire controls metal. So this still works. There is no 3-harmony combo that creates earth. I would prefer to use that, but it just doesn't exist. So if you have a rooster or an ox as your 4th pillar in your Batsa, in your natal chart, then you just wait for the other one to come along as a luck pillar, and you can, that one luck pillar, it will totally eliminate the ungrateful punishment. And then this is where you get a clearer picture of how people are really interacting with you. And that can help you, if you can remember that, this will stay there even when your luck pillar is gone. That is, that interaction won't change. It'll be, your perception may change, but the actual interaction won't. And so you have to remember what it was like during the time when you had the 3-harmony combo working, that it will, that you can just remember, okay, it's just what I'm thinking that's wrong. It's, this person has helped me before. They're still helping me because I still help them. I'm just not looking at it the way I did when I had the luck pillar activated. So, or that luck pillar activated the 3-harmony combo. So basically, if you don't have either the rooster or the ox, this doesn't work, obviously. And it would be nice if you had, let's say, the ox, that the rooster came not when you were super young, but maybe in your teenage years up to 30 or 40 years old, because then it still gives you time to see things in a more reasonable way. But if you don't, and the other pillar doesn't come until you're very old, that's not so good. But you can use the elements that are involved here. Rooster has the main chi of metal. Ox has the main chi of earth. So here you're going to use the earth, again, represents stability and nurturing, and the metal basically represents focus. So you simply are going to basically focus on ignoring your negative feelings about how people are treating you, because you know that you're probably not interpreting it correctly. And the thing is, if you help everybody, even if you're pretty sure that person doesn't like you, it doesn't matter. Your boss will see that you are a helpful person, and that's more likely to get you a raise or a promotion than somebody who can't get along with another individual. So that's just the way it works. Now, the 3-harmony combo that contains the tiger actually creates fire, and that's not helpful. It actually makes the situation worse because this is already a fire penalty. So the only reason it might make things better is that if fire is a favorable element and it's actually at a relatively low level in your chart, in your natal chart, then this might help. But I have already covered the 3-harmony combos, and again, you can hopefully you might be able to have it. But the of course it contains, it's just like these other two. It contains, I think it's the dog and the horse. So you can only have one of them. So it same thing will apply as the timing is the key here. Now, if you don't have the appropriate branches elsewhere, you use those properties. Stability and nurturing, which comes from the earth, or water, which is flexible thinking and less rigid actions. So this means getting out of your comfort zone. I know a lot of people don't like that, but this is the way to make yourself better, especially if you have the ungrateful punishment or any negative thing in your chart. But this does help reduce the impact. But low levels of earth or water, this becomes harder to do. And this can be. And here, when you don't have anything to really work with, this, you just have to know you have this and still help others, even if you feel you're being cheated. You can't let this rule your life if you actually have this penalty, because it will make your life much harder. You simply have to understand that your interpretation of what an interaction happens, it might not be real. And all by itself, that knowledge does help. Now, we'll go on to the bullying punishment. This is an earth penalty. That is, it creates earth. And you feel bullied by people and by situations beyond your control. Now, for example, the recent cutting of a bunch of funding for lots of really important research, including things like cancer research, that has happened here in the United States, that has hurt lots of people and actually is going to cause a brain drain from the United States, because they'll go to other countries. This will help India, this will help China, this will help Europe. It will weaken America, what this administration has done, but this might be good in the whole world view, because America will lose power. I think America might be a little too strong. So if we were a little more balanced, the world were a little more balanced, things might be better. So, and that's, another concept. Balance is really important in Chinese metaphysics. But everybody there, not all of them have this earth penalty, this bullying punishment. But the people that do have this in their chart, if they're let go because the funding has been cut, they will have a much harder time moving on. They will dwell on it. They'll feel life is unfair. And yes, granted, it probably is unfair, but but it's not like you can do much about it. The only thing to do is move on, is, find another job and don't worry about it. I mean, but this is from somebody who doesn't have the bullying punishment. Okay. This is my viewpoint, is you get basically screwed by the government or whatever, but that's it. You just have to keep on. And that's very hard for someone with the bullying punishment to do. They obsess about the unfairness, and they don't move on. And that is the real problem. Now, if you have two of the three animals, again, time will place the third animal into your chart. And so you will feel it's not like a light switch. It won't happen right away, but over time, over several years, you'll start to feel this way. And now for me, I only have the ox. I don't have either of these, so I don't really have to worry about it. Now, again, this is largely a perception on your part, but it can be real, especially in a situation where, a bunch of funding is cut. That is quite unfair, but you're not singled out. it's a whole class of people who get singled out. I mean, it's a bunch of people. It's not you. So it's not targeted towards you. But you, if you have this punishment, you'll feel it is. Now, if Earth is a favorable element, this punishment can help you, provided you don't already have a high level in your chart, because a high level of Earth can make you um, basically want to be too stable and don't want to change. And you have to be able to change because life circumstances change. So this can be a little bit bad if you have too much Earth. But if you have a average level of Earth, this can be helpful. And if you have a low level of Earth, this can be very helpful because it can help you feel more stable. Whereas if you have normally a very low level of Earth, you feel things are quite unstable. Now, when this is an unfavorable element, this extra Earth can lead to fear of change and fear of taking chances. And if you never take a chance, you basically don't grow because uh, you want to stay just the way things are, and that it just doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. You have to keep changing as you go on with life because the world changes. So we can treat this just like we did for the other punishment, the fire penalty. What we look for is a snake and a rooster, one of them in the fourth pillar of your chart. And then when the other luck pillar comes along, you have a full three harmony combo. And when that happens, this earth penalty, this bullying punishment, is either reduced very much or it's gone. And it really should be gone. But it's not like a light switch. When you enter that luck pillar, you may not feel much change, but as the years go on, you will. And this can help you get a more balanced view of the world. Of course, when you leave that luck pillar, it does go away. But this is something that you can keep in mind once the luck pillar's gone. And you do have a different perspective on life. And you do realize that, yes, this will come back and you will feel bullied, but you can just think back about what it was like when you had the right set of luck pillar and what else is in your chart. And then it can help you mitigate this, help you realize that you're not being picked on. It's just life isn't fair. I mean, basically that's what it boils down to. Now again, this does create metal. Metal weakens earth. So it's the weakening cycle that you're using. And so that's helpful. Now, if you have instead a rabbit or a pig, it's a different way of mitigating it, but it still works. With the goat, which is already here, you're going to have a three harmony combo that creates wood. Wood controls earth. So this also works. It's usually a little bit more painful, but it works because this is just the way the elements work. And things will resolve usually in a quicker way, but more abrupt, which is why it has a tendency to be a little more painful. It's a big sudden change. But again, you have to have either the pig or the rabbit in the fourth pillar of your chart. And then you're waiting for the other luck pillar to come along. Then you have that full three harmony combo. And again, if it doesn't totally eliminate the bullying punishment, it's going to be reduced significantly. So, I mean, really significantly. Life will feel different. You'll look at life differently if you have this. Now, again, if you don't have it, you're going to be using the properties, the wood from the rabbit and the water from the pig. That is basically education. That's what wood represents, and more flexible thinking. And that they go hand in hand, actually. If you have more flexible thinking, it's easier to learn. So this usually is a nice, simple way of getting what you want done done. It really is helpful if you can have that. Now, um, the uncivilized punishment happens when you let your desires overcome common sense and reasonable behavior. And this is the rabbit and the rat, when you have both of them in your natal chart. If they're adjacent to each other, they're quite strong. If they're between the hour and the year, it's quite weak. So it's a lot like a clash in terms of that behavior. Now, this does not create an element. And you can have, if you have one of these two animals, then the time can place the other one in your chart. So for example, I have a rabbit. Now my rat luck pillar doesn't come until I'm over 100. So I haven't had the rat luck pillar yet. And I'm not really all that likely to make it to the rat pillar. I mean, I would love to be over 100, but that's a big ask. So I don't expect to feel this. Now, what happens with this? Again, the reason why it's called uncivilized punishment is because one of the properties, it's not always the property, but one of them could be you feel like you're fighting everybody, and so you are argumentative with everybody, or maybe you try to insult everybody. Maybe that you just feel you actually feel that need, and usually it's because you're not sure about something about yourself that makes you want to do that kind of activity, because that doesn't give you very many friends, and life without many friends is not usually very appealing. So, but it can also come across as addictions, you know, and it's because you're following your desires, and you basically you lack some self-control. Now, if you have both, you can be a slave to your desires, and you'll do what you want to do just because you haven't got enough self-control to say this is not smart. You know, you and I actually know somebody who is like this, but I don't know their full chart, so I don't know if they have this. Now, the presence of a pig and a goat along with the rabbit creates a three harmony that'll overcome the punishment. But either just the pig or the goat will weaken the punishment because it's a half combo. And that's true of the other ones too, where we were trying to get the right combination. Now, also you can do the combo with the rat. A monkey and a dragon creates a three harmony combo with a rat. It'll overcome the punishment. Now here, we don't care about the element because this doesn't create an element. So you're just looking to weaken this by having a combo. Now, since this only involves two, you could have a monkey and dragon in your chart. Because you've got 4 pillars. So this can be a permanent thing. It can be permanently gone if you have the right set of things. And of course, if you don't, you're going to be using the properties. So the dragon is its main chi is the earth, the monkey, it's metal. So you're going to be using stability and focus, basically. And actually, maybe dragons, earth is also nurturing. Maybe that's what you should use. You should be using nurturing and focus instead. That might be more helpful. And so you can do that with the rabbit too. The pig is the pig, and the goat, that's earth, and let me see, the pig is water. So you would be using nurturing and more flexible thinking, or stability and more flexible thinking. And that may seem a little strange that you would have the flexible thinking and then stability, but yes, it can still happen because you're talking about the actual situation. You're just expanding your thoughts, not necessarily changing things in your life. So it can happen. And that helps you look at things differently, and it just generally helps. Now, the key here is self-control, knowing that your desires may not be helpful to you. And so, and that is really important if you actually have both animals in your chart, in your natal chart. Of course, when the other luck pillar comes along, yes, it can be a problem. But in general, it's a little bit less likely unless you let that control your life. And most of the time, people don't change that fast. So I don't think this is such a problem compared to the first two during a luck pillar. Now, if you have to get professional help to help you learn self-control, get it. It's worth it, because otherwise this can lead to behavior that will make your personal relationships usually very bad. It can make your health bad if it's an addiction type thing that's happening. And it can really hurt your ability to make money because you are the grumpy employee that everybody doesn't want to work with. And that is not a good thing for your employment. Now we come to the self-punishments. You have to have two copies in your chart of the same animal, which is one of the four listed here. So it has to be two dragons, or two horses, or two roosters, or two pigs. You don't say you've got a horse and a dragon. That is not a self-punishment. It's a dragon and a dragon, and so forth. Now, there is some controversy or disagreement among a lot of websites and even with different masters, or maybe different schools would be a better word, where some think the pig is not really a punishment. I'm including it because I would say at least half the websites, maybe a little over half, do include the pig as a self-punishment. So that's why I've included it here. But it might not be as strong. That may be the thing. Now, what does this do? It basically comes in, you will see this in the form of bad habits, usually unproductive, sometimes unhealthy, that you can't seem to quit. So it is an addiction, but it's not necessarily an addiction to a drug or something. It's more like an addiction to an activity. So some people are like super they can't live without their cell phone, and they can't live without social media, and they're watching it all the time. That we now know is very bad for your mental health, watching a lot of social media. Now, if the social media is something where you're just gaining information, I mean, I hardly watch anything except for something to do with Batsa or Feng Shui. I mean, this is what I look at when I look at the internet. I don't really follow any news on the internet because it seems to be super biased. What I follow or what I watch for the news is my local news, which really only talks about local things, and also the PBS, the public broadcasting. That is pretty balanced. They do have some biases, but it's relatively small. And you know they're unbiased because when they have people talking, you're going to agree with one person and you're going to disagree with the other, usually. And then you know it's balanced. And so I do think that on the whole, PBS has the most balanced thing. Of course, if you're not in the United States, you're not going to be able to watch PBS. But, you know, so I don't think I don't have this, but I also am not obsessed with social media. Now, the tiger and the rabbit with the dragon creates a directional combo. Now, the tiger is, both of these are wood. Their main chi is wood. So this would be using education. If you don't have both of these, because there's only two and you have four pillars, if you have the tiger and rabbit along with the two dragons, this is basically not a problem. But if you don't, you can use that property, which is wood. And we look at the directional combo in addition to the three harmony combo because this doesn't create an element, so you don't have to worry about the interaction of elements. Now for the three harmony combo, the dragon with the rat and the monkey, that creates a three harmony combo. Now the rat is water, the monkey is metal. So that's focus on and more broad thinking or more flexible ideas and thinking. So that can also work if you don't have the rat and monkey in your chart. So, and if you happen to have, let's say, the rabbit and the monkey, well, then you have to wait for the appropriate luck pillar to come along to really be strong. But you can use whatever of those properties you have. It's a half combo for the directional or the three harmony, and you can still use those properties. So, and those properties also will create certain elements. So you can use those elements too. But in general, I would say you look at what elements are here. That is also a good way to use it. And of course, if you have high levels of the things that that like water or wood or metal, this tends to also be very helpful for you because it gives you a ways to get over this. Now, the dragon's main chi is earth. So again, high level of metal or wood is good. That can also mitigate this punishment. That can make you be able to overcome this. Now let's look at the horse-horse combo. The snake and the goat with the horse create a directional combo. And this combo actually is fire. The snake is fire, the goat is earth. So this is passion and stability or nurturing. And so that should work quite well with this. Now the horse is also fire, but this combination doesn't create fire. So we don't have to worry about adding fire. If adding fire is okay. Of course, you may already have a pretty high level if you have the horse and you also have the snake. Your fire may already be very high. And so maybe stability is the better one to use to make the passion reasonable, not too much. Now, the dog and the tiger, along with the horse, create a three harmony combo. You can use that. This is wood, which actually makes the fire even stronger, which may not be so great. And then the dog is also earth. So in general, nurturing or more stability in your life is probably what will help when it comes to elements. And this can overcome the punishment. If you actually have these, either the snake and the goat or the dragon and the dog as your other two pillars, then yes, this self-punishment is gone. But if you don't have both, then you have to deal with it in a separate way. And so the horse's main chi is fire, so you're going to have a pretty high level of fire in your chart. So earth and water will help mitigate this punishment if you have high levels of either. And whichever one is the higher level that you have in your chart, you use that one because it's easier for you to use. So if you have a high level of earth, you're going to be using stability and nurturing. And if you don't have a high level of earth, but you have a high level of water, and it doesn't have to be super high, and whichever one is higher, that's the one you use. Water is more flexible thinking. So fire represents passion, which often narrows your thinking. The water will help broaden your thinking. So this is why either one of these can be used. The water is usually a little more abrupt and the earth is a little more gentle, but go with what you have in your chart, whichever one is higher. Okay, so now we'll go on to the rooster self-punishment. We're going to use, hopefully you can use it like a monkey and a dog. Hopefully that's the rest of your chart. But if it's not, we're going to be using the elements. And the This creates a directional combo. It is a metal directional combo. And this monkey also has metal. So if you have that, you have a ton of metal in your chart. And you probably don't want to use that because this metal represents focus. This will be you'll be so focused that maybe things aren't so great. So the other alternative is to use the dog's property. Now the dog is earth. This main chi is earth. So we're talking nurturing or stability. And either one can work. And now the snake and the ox, along with the rooster, is a 3-harmony combo. And you can use that. You can also use the element it creates, which I believe is water, although I've forgotten already. But whatever this creates, you can use that. Now the snake, its element is fire. Now that does control metal. So this is something that can be helpful. Focus and passion don't necessarily go hand in hand. You can focus on the wrong things, even things you don't like. So that is why passion is a bit different. When you have a passion and you focus on the passion, then it's usually much more enjoyable. And so that's kind of what we're getting at. And of course, you can use the ox, which is main chi is earth. You can use that too. So you can use it as an element also. And hopefully you have at least a decent level in your chart that you can use. Whichever one is higher, you can use that one. And so the rooster's main chi is metal. So water weakens metal and fire controls it. So again, whichever one is higher in your chart, that is a good way to mitigate it. And it just use those properties. Now the last one, the pig, the pig has water, but the rat, ox, and pig create more water. So this is the directional combo. And the rabbit, goat, and pig create the 3-harmony combo. Those things can overcome this punishment. If you have these other two in your chart, it can be quite helpful. But if you don't, then you simply use the properties of this. And so the pig is the main cheese, the high is it is the thing. Now you want to use wood, because wood weakens water, and you want to use earth because earth controls water. So this is education. It doesn't have to be formal education, just some sort of learning and stability or nurturing. You use those, whichever one is higher in your chart. This will also help overcome this. It's not going to eliminate it. None of these things get eliminated, but it helps you have a better balanced life. Because again, remember, this is about getting, like, having your life be controlled by your desires, which is usually not terribly healthy. So, so this is what you're using. You're trying to balance that out and having more balanced life. Now, again, it's self-control is a big key here. You can improve your health and your interactions with others, which almost always improves your ability to earn money. And if you can't seem to do it by yourself, get professional help. There are ways that this can be helped if you don't have the right elements in your chart and you can't seem to do this by yourself. There's nothing wrong with getting help, because then your life is better, your family's life is better, everything seems to get better. Now, if you have a single copy of these, when that same luck pillar comes along, you will have a self-punishment. Now, I do have a horse in my chart. I also have a pig. But in my horse luck pillar, which has already passed, so I can talk about it, that luck pillar was not unproductive for knowledge. So I learned a lot. This was basically where I went to school for interior design. And but it was rather unproductive for money. But it was, preparing for the future, which is usually what education is all about. Now, my water is my highest natal element in my chart, and it controls the horse's fire. Now my average level of earth slightly weakens the horse's fire. So I could use either one. Mostly I will choose water because water is way higher in my chart. Um, and I would say that this horse self-punishment wasn't a real problem for me. But it was, well, let's say it was a very interesting luck pillar. It really was. I learned so much. So I enjoyed this luck pillar. Now, I do have a pig in my chart also, but my pig luck pillar doesn't come until I'm over 90. So it's still sometime in the future. So that's it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful, and this time at least I had some way to help mitigate this, to help you have uh, a better life if you happen to have this in your chart, which can be it can be problematic. It's the strongest of the negative interactions, the punishments are. So I hope you don't have one, but if you do, at least here you have some sort of framework that you can work with to improve your life. So thanks again for watching.